Hello guys and gals, and welcome! So, I recently tried to get the game to run on the the Steam Deck, and this is the first time, literally, that I've run this on the Steam Deck. So, come along with me, and let's see how it plays. So, I guess let's go with more of a passive class, since I gotta play with the controller, and I don't want to end up looking like a fool as if I die over and over again, which I probably might. If you're wondering how I got it to work, I will be putting a video out on it, but believe it or not, if you followed my steps in the video for setting up Diablo 2 Resurrected, you are already pretty much entirely there. So what you have to do from the point at which you finish the Diablo 2 Resurrection install that I have a video up for, you just need to download the newest version of Proton that says version 51, and it literally says Diablo 4 Beta. So with the new Diablo 4 Beta version of Proton, you will get an error message that says that the graphics are incompatible, but that you can go ahead and try anyway. If we go to the menu settings, oops, not that one. How do we get to the settings with the controller? I don't even know.
I'm not ready yet. I'm out of mana.
A little bit of a delay on the sound on my part. I'm not really sure if that's with you guys or that's with me, but you know what? Let's easiest way to fix that. I know. See, this is stuff on my end, by the way. So I'm going to deactivate the Capture Pro card, and then I'm going to reactivate the card. And a lot of the times that'll fix the delay issues. Yes, so that fixed it completely for me. I don't know if you guys even had the issue, but I definitely did. Alright, so let's go to the nearest town here. Let's go to Kyavashad. I'd also like to pull up the settings if I can figure out how the hell to do that. There's got to be a button. You know what I can do? I have a little keyboard, as long as it doesn't mess things up. Let me just of course, load times, right? The load times on the system are definitely going to be a lot worse than on your PC. The game connection has been lost. Your client has been disconnected from the server. Alright, so let's reconnect. We're in the queue. We're used to that. We're used to being in the queue. Truth. Facts. Real life. Alright, so I should be able to go into settings now. Yep, there we go. And we're going to go to options. So it looks like we're running at 1280 by 720, so 720p. Bump that cursor scale up. And let's see what other settings they've got. When enabled, the game will render at a lower resolution based on the selected setting. It'll be upscaled to the display resolution using the temporal upscaling settings. Okay. Let's go ahead and limit this max foreground FPS to 60, and the reason why we're doing this is to put less strain on the system. So even if the system can display more than 60, it's a Steam Deck. Like it's not a beastly rig of godliness. So let's just let it do its thing. Looks like it automatically detected some pretty simple settings. Let me just go ahead and save the settings that I did. And I'm going to turn this master volume down. The game is super loud. In fact, you might not have heard anything I said, because obviously you've got to change all these settings for the Steam Deck specifically. And a lot of this stuff is going to be locked. So I have figured out how to get higher than 1080p resolution, and 720p resolution. And you have to go into the desktop mode when you launch the game, and it does allow the game to run into to 1080p, but you are going to obviously have some issues with your FPS. Let's actually see what FPS I'm running at real quick before we start changing all these things. So Control R should show us our FPS. We're currently running at 53. Let's go outside of town. Let's fight some stuff. Let's see how far that drops, and let's get an idea. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I would rather have a solid, steady FPS than one that fluctuates a lot. So if I have to limit it to 30 to get a solid FPS, then so be it. I'll also play around with the settings, and we'll see if we can bump the FPS. Maybe there's some specific setting which is causing issues over others. But just being able to play on the Steam Deck is a triumph in itself. And of course, this is the this is the gatehouse you can't leave by. Hold on, let's go to one of these other cities. Kiavashad's got some pretty serious bugs in it. Obviously, it's beta. Obviously, they're working on it, right? You know, it's not something that we're overly worried about. We're in a beta. If this was a launched game, if this was a full version of the game, then yeah. Also, I'm on a Steam Deck, which is not something that they would recommend anyway. I get that every now and then with the Steam Deck because it does pull a lot of power, and what happens is it kills the video. That's why it said no signal. So the system is basically like just having a little mini heart attack. The docking system isn't the greatest. I've had a lot of issues with the docking system on the Steam Deck, and it is connected, because if I press the... No, maybe it's not connected. But it's just, like, when you're actually playing it in handheld, it's much more stable, and you don't have to worry about it. But obviously I can't show you that, you know, on stream. I can't show you that on stream. It's, I have to have it going through the Elgato capture card for you guys to be able to see it. And that's where things get finicky. It's not necessarily finicky like normally. It's just finicky when going through the capture card, and I don't know why it doesn't like the capture card. And for some reason or another, we've got nothing on the screen. I'm going to disconnect the cable, and I just want to see if anything pops up on the screen itself, because the Steam Deck itself may have frozen. It looks like the Steam Deck itself froze. Alright, so let's reboot this. Yes, the Steam Deck did freeze. It currently has verifying installation on the screen, which says to me that it's rebooting. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this back in, and you guys should be able to see the screen in 3, 2, 1. There you go. And that slow charger warning always comes up. It doesn't matter what charger you have in. It doesn't matter if you have the provided charger by the company. It doesn't matter if you've got like the most powerful charger that you bought off Amazon. It doesn't matter what Steam dock what dock I use. The frickin' Steam Deck just loves to spam that message in my face. And I really wish and hope, and somebody down in the comments, please let me know. Please, for the love of God, please let me know. How do I turn off that effing message, okay? Because the majority of the time, the system only drops below, like, the maximum charging amount by the tiniest little proportions for a fraction of a second. And it still pops that message up on the screen every single freaking time. And it, like I said, it does not matter what charger I have plugged into the system. I literally will plug in the provided charger that came with the Steam Deck. It will not be on the dock. It will not be plugged into anything, and it will still tell me that there's a slow charger connected. And I swear there's just something wrong with the Steam Deck not recognizing the power outages properly. All right, so since I'm here, let me show you this. So I did not change anything from my instructions on how to install Diablo 2 Resurrected on the Steam Deck. If you haven't seen that video, it's a very good video. If you go into here, and you go to Properties, and you go to Compatibility, you'll see that I now have GE Proton 51 Diablo _4 _beta. I had to install this. So you have to go to the desktop, and just like in the original video that I gave you guys before, you have to go to the Qt Proton up, and you have to download the newest version of Diablo IV Beta 51 Proton. And then what you do is you restart the Steam Deck, and it will appear in the list. And then you're going to go ahead and put the 51 Diablo IV Beta Proton on. Then you're going to launch. All right, and when you launch, it's going to open up your Diablo, your Battle.net launcher. Okay, it's not going to open up Diablo 4. It's going to open up the Battle.net launcher, just like I had it set up before. And then from here, pretty much all you have to do is launch the game. So you go to the Diablo 4 window. I just use the screen because it's easier than having a keyboard and mouse plugged in. And then you hit the play button there. And that will launch Diablo 4. It gives you a warning message. So it's important to note that it does give you a warning message, and it's so janky using the mouse on the screen when it's in this mode. It is so freaking jankety. So and it just clicking on things with it is often like insanely difficult as well. I really don't like the way the mouse works on the Steam Deck. There's just something odd about it. There's just something weird about the way that it works, and like I don't know. Like it's close to like what you would expect, but at the same time, it like when it's in this mode, I swear it's sideways. But anyway, so there's the message right here. It says the GPU you're using is not supported. You may experience graphical bugs, instability, or poor performance while using it. Updating your drivers may resolve this. Blah blah blah. If I can even get to the thing and click on it. And come on. Oh my god. Okay, there we go. All right, so basically, once you get past that, once you click OK to the warning message and everything, that's when Diablo 4 launches. We're gonna lower down the settings about as much as I think we need to make Diablo 4 stable. So if you'll forgive me for making the game look like garbage, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make the game look like garbage because this is a fact-finding mission. This is a what the hell can we do to make this work better? Why did it crash when I tried to load through the waypoint? You know, stuff like that. Let's find out. I have a feeling that playing around with the settings will have a pretty strong change. Okay, well that's interesting. So I guess I must have loaded in, and it was actually letting me move around. That's interesting. So there just wasn't anything on the screen. Okay, interesting. That's all interesting. I know I say interesting a lot, but interesting. It says AMD Custom GPU 0405 RADV Van Gogh. Alright, so first off, this is just like my brain thinking here. Let's limit this to 30 FPS because it already doesn't seem like it can maintain 30 FPS. Let's change the max background FPS to 30 as well so that they're identical because we don't want it fluctuating a whole lot. Let's change the texture quality to low, and let's turn off anisotropic scaling. Dynamic shadows and soft shadows don't need to be on. Clutter quality can be off. A lot of these are already set to low. Low FX is fine. Let's go ahead and turn off distortion effects. Actually, you know what? Let's put this back to 60 just for the moment, because I do want to see if potentially. Why does it seem like the screen is off? Transform fit to screen. Ah, okay, it was off. Look at that. All right. So we've got pretty much everything turned off or low. The super resolution, it says when enabled, the game will render at a lower resolution based on selected setting, and we upscale to the display resolution using temporal upscaling techniques. I'm not really 100% sure if we should do it. Let's adjust the resolution scale down to 95% as well. And let's see how dog garbage we've made the game. Alright, we had a little bit of a lag there when we applied the settings, but let's go ahead and put the FPS back up on the screen. Okay, so we're at a solid 60. Now, I do believe, if we go into the settings here... wait, hold on. Not the settings. Where was it? I believe it's holding down the... Steam has its own little, like, GPU and, like, FPS, like, doojinks. And I could have sworn... I think it's this one? Yes. Okay, I remembered. Look at me actually remembering stuff. Okay, so down here, see how it says performance settings? You can go here and you can do a performance overlay. So let's do this performance overlay. Why is it not letting me do the performance overlay? Has it been disabled? Okay, here we go. That's what I'm looking for. So now we got the advanced settings on the screen. Alright, so let's go kill some stuff. That's our goal here. And let's see how this performance actually, you know, messes with the game. So right now it says our GPU is sitting at 89%. We're at 69C. Our CPU is sitting at 32% with 70C. And we're using 4.9 gigabytes of VRAM, 10.6 gigabytes of RAM. Battery is currently at 90%. We are plugged in. Just getting a baseline, just like an idle baseline. I just want to make sure we got our idle baseline. Take a sip while we just let it settle. We have a bear. Alright, let's go ahead and kill some stuff, and let's see what we can get this to.
I'm not ready yet.
Alright, we're just going to play for a while. We're going to see if we can overheat it. We're going to see if we can crash it. Nothing too fancy there other than let's get her done. So let's just keep running around, keep murdering stuff. I've been interested in this the entire freaking time I've been playing, and I was over there just like trying to control myself. I haven't played on the controller much. I think this is the first time I've actually played on the controller, so do forgive me if I look like a complete and utter noob while I'm playing.
I need time. I lack the needed mana. I'm not ready yet. Out of mana.
Okay, I mean it's doing pretty good. We're still at 74C and 77C respectively, which I think are pretty decent numbers as far as temps go. This is my ultimate that allows me to basically spam a whole bunch of abilities, and I figure that's probably one of the things that's going to lag it up the most. We might also go over to the trapper. I have a rogue trapper. I call her Trapsen, and we'll play around with her. We should probably also go into a dungeon. The game seems to be having issues loading in between zones, though. Like I notice when I'm running around the world as a general rule, like, it doesn't seem to be too much of an issue. But good lord, loading into a doojank. Now, granted, as Proton gets more versions and they understand better how to emulate Diablo 4, you know, we should be better. I would assume that by the time we hit, you know, launch release, we should be looking at a much more stable version of Proton. In fact, it seems obviously like they're working on it right now, which is definitely a very good thing because, you know, like we have a literal Proton version that literally says Diablo 4 beta. So it's very clear that they are working on getting it to work. So I really don't even have much of a negative like connotation or doubt, you know, or a doubt rather, that we're not going to see like a fully functional version of this by the time that Diablo 4 goes live in June, because we got quite a few months. They can test out on both the closed beta and the open beta, make sure things are working, and then when Diablo 4 goes live, they should have a functional version by then. So I haven't really been paying attention to the FPS. I was paying attention to the temperatures more than anything, but it doesn't look like we're really dropping below 60 all that much. Like, am I wrong? Like, I know I wasn't paying attention, but it definitely didn't seem like we were dropping below that 60 FPS number all that much. So it looks like we might be able to up some of the settings. For stability reasons, I kind of don't want to. Like, don't get me wrong, I do understand that some of you guys might want to see how pretty you can make it look, but it doesn't seem very stable, and for the purposes of this video, I think I want to keep it in a stable format. And of course, there we go, nice and deaded. I'm having trouble aiming my abilities and stuff with the controller. It's not quite as easy. Now, of course, you can play with the keyboard and mouse with this. Like, don't think you can't. I have a keyboard hooked up right now, and if I had a mouse hooked up, I could also be using that. But I'm lazy, and well, actually, I'm not lazy. I actually just couldn't find the mouse. Like, I legit searched like the whole thing, and my girlfriend's probably mad at me for making so much noise in here. But I legit could not find the mouse, the other mouse, and I can't unhook the one from my main computer. I might have to get like a keyboard mouse switcher. It'd be pretty neat. Let's see if we can actually load in somewhere. So there's our loading screen. The loading screens are capped at 30 FPS, by the way. As you can see down there in the bottom left-hand corner, it says FPS 30. Alright, so here we are in the Frigid Heim. The Frigid Heim. We're going to run it at 98, 99% GPU utilization. 76, fluctuating a lot there. FPS is fluctuating a bit in here. I definitely saw it fall down to 58-ish.
I'm out of mana. I'm not ready yet.
I mean, we were able to load into the dungeon. We were able to do the do-jank. It seems to be pretty stable, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not ready yet. I lack the needed mana.
We're currently at 5.3 gigabytes of VRAM usage.
I'm not ready yet.
And 11 gigabytes of RAM. 11 gigabytes is a lot of freaking RAM usage for something like this. I can't even remember how much freaking RAM does the Steam Deck have.
I should have been a better ship. I should never heart stopped when your eyes opened. It wasn't light that moved you. The unholy beasts that dwell here raised your body with their magic. I had to kill you. But I tried to give you a death more painless than your fate. Wherever your soul is now, may the light protect you when I couldn't.
I'm not ready yet. I need time to prepare that. I need time to
I mean, it's playing pretty smooth. I'm not having too much of an issue. I don't really feel like there's any lag here. Like, I'm holding a steady 60 FPS with the settings that I changed now. When obviously we were not holding steady 60 FPS even in Town Idle before. So it does look like you could fine-tune the settings a little bit, get things, you know, more in the range of what you're looking for. So it looks like the artillery shrine. This artillery shrine is bringing me down, see it? So I am most definitely tanking the FPS with some of these effects. I mean, we lost about 5 FPS there every time we started using the artillery shrine.
I need time.
Which is why I want to check it on the Trapper, because the Trapper is such a graphically intensive character, like with all the little traps and then the trap effects, and then the monsters are poisoned, and all the other things. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. I mean, we're already barely holding 60, and we just dropped to 50 there. Oh, 34. There was a stutter. That was a stutter. You could literally see the stutter on the graph as it went by. It was a large drop in FPS, and it represented as a spike on the frame counter.
I need time to prepare. I need time to prepare that.
This monster's a bit spicy.
I need time to prepare that.
Ring.
I'm not ready yet.
Alright, I think that's enough of this particular character. Let's head back to the menu. And leave game. Let's switch to my Trapper. So my Trapper has a lot of like weird stuff going on with her, and I did notice a lot of stutters, a lot of issues when I was playing her, and that was on my PC. So I'm curious if that stuttering and that those issues are going to translate over to the Steam Deck version. All right, we managed to load in. That's a good first sign. Let's just exit town up here on the north, and let's see what's going on. So we're getting some pretty big tanks here in Kjavashad. 49 FPS around certain places in the city. You know, let's run around the city. It seems like it's having trouble rendering the city. Beneath the heavy tarp lies crates of vegetables and fruits preserved by the frigid weather. Ooh, that was a 19. Did you see that 19 drop? That was rough. Why did it drop to 19 right there? Why is there like... It seems like there's certain places in the village that it just hates. 46, 41. Oof. 44. It's not holding stable in the city at all. 42, 47. I mean, when we get out into the open... Ooh, 15. Did you guys see that 15 drop as I loaded into the area? Alright, so get away from the city, because it seems like something's going on in the city causing those drops. Let's get away from the city before we determine whether or not it's still dropping. Because I want to... If it is something specifically in the city that's causing it, I don't want it to be messing with our tests here. Alright, so we're really far away from the city. Let's do this event right here. There's an event.
I'm not ready yet.
Alright, gotta figure out how to play this character on all over again. I don't know my buttons. I know my abilities, I just don't know the buttons. So the entire goal of this character is literally to have just like multiple ways of doing things. So like I'm constantly putting traps down on monsters. I'm throwing cal traps down on monsters. It's a little bit odd in a defensive scenario like this. I don't think I've ever really played her in a defensive scenario yet. It does seem a little strange playing her like defensively, because I'm basically just running up and like throwing the traps down on top of like the objective goals and then running away. I'm trying to focus on staying alive. I'm not paying attention to the FPS counter like I should. Let's put our death trap over here. Oh, thankfully it looks like we've got some help. Nice. Let's go ahead and throw our death trap down. Let's go ahead and throw our poison trap down. Oh, nice. We did it. Alright, so that was outside of town with the Trapper. I'm assuming that certain characters are going to have more or less and issues with the game. If it's unable to maintain 60, I might, like if I'm going to play on it, I might drop the limit maybe to like 50 or 45 or something. Because I would much rather have a steady 45 than a really jankety 60. And this is of course with the lowest settings. I mean, is there anything else that I can lower, just as a curiosity? I guess I could bump down the resolution scale a little bit more. Let's bring it down from 95 to... Well, some of them dips were pretty nasty. Let's go down to 85% resolution scale. Let's see if that helps maintain the 60 FPS. Let's go see if we can find another event to do. No, that was a super overkill. I just used my biggest trap on that one dude.
I'm not ready yet. time.
God, I really need to reorganize these buttons. Like, my death trap should be Y. My main trap should be like literally almost on one of my triggers, which is there like a oh no. Don't teleport. I don't want to teleport back to town right now. I mean, lowering the resolution scale has definitely helped make it a little, little more stable. FPS wise, anyway. It's also making the game look more and more like dirt. This is a dirt game. It's perfectly playable though. Like I'm having a lot of fun just messing around with it, and it's kind of what I wanted you guys to see. Is I wanted you guys to just see how the performance is. Like, how does it run? Like, is it possible? It is possible, and it seems to run pretty nicely. All right, so let's do one more test with the Burberdin. So we're gonna go to the Burberdin. I got a Bleedbarian. That's my barbarian right there. The Bleedbarian. Damage over time effects do not have random variants.
You're the one who offed the town then. Guess thanks are in order.
We're in Nostrava. That's a pretty good place. Let's actually walk around Nostrava. It's a city that's not the main city, but it's still a city, right? So, let's see what kind of doojanks we got going on here. 60. 59. City. I mean, it seems to be doing alright, but this definitely is not a main city. Let's go to the main city real quick. Now that we've adjusted the resolution scale down just a little bit, I'm kind of curious to see whether we still get all those frame drops in Kuvashad. They may not be limited at all to resolution scale. In fact, I could probably turn resolution scale down to 0, and we might see no assistance on that, because it could be something else causing it. There's a dip to 31. Dip to 44, dip to 42. Let's open up one of the panels here. Another dip to 45, 47, 40. Opening up the inventory. Kind of stuck pretty steady there at 44 in the inventory. I mean, it seems like you could probably limit it to 30 FPS. Because it doesn't seem to be dipping below 30 in town. Those of you who are like me are sensitive to frame dips, I am horribly sensitive to frame dips. What I mean by that is that when they happen, I can clearly and very noticeably see the frame dips, and they bother me. So, like, if you were to limit this to 30, I really doubt we would see any dips. In fact, let's do a quick test. So all we got to do is go down to FPS limit. So let's just go ahead and FPS limit it to 30. And let's see if it stays at a stable 30 or if we get dips. I mean, we keep dipping down. What is going on? It looks like a freaking cardiogram. It looks like an EKG. Look at it. It's I mean, it wasn't having any trouble staying up at 60, but when I limited it to 30, now it's having trouble staying at 30. Maybe it's the FPS limit all around that's causing the issue. Let's unleash the beast, and let's see what happens if we just put it at unlimited, basically. So let's just unleash it. And I do believe And then let's also go back to... I want to see if it... wow, ooh, it dropped to 19 there for a second. But that was on loading through the portal, so maybe that's not such a big a deal. I, again, dropped down to 11 upon loading in. Went to 63 there for a second. Still seems to be staying very steady at 60. Is VSync on? Let me double check that. VSync is on. Alright, there we go. 64, 62, 61, 63. I mean, it's still having trouble. Wait, 70? There we went. We were at 70 for a second there. I mean, just as a lull, just as a laugh. Let's see how terrible it looks with like just absolutely god-awful resolution scale. Let's just bring it all the way down to 50% resolution scale. It looks like we're playing a freaking PSP game. Hey, 114, 115 FPS. With some absolutely dog garbage resolution scale. Oh no, I didn't mean to kill you, Mr. Goat. I'm sorry. Please forgive me, Mr. Goat.
I'm out of fury.
I mean, if you turn the resolution scale to I forgot my glasses at home and everything is blurry, it doesn't look like absolutely ridiculously horrible. Yeah, but it's just not acceptable, like, quality, though. Like, it's really bad. It's really bad quality. I don't know if I want to play like this. It literally looks like my eyes are out of focus. I don't know. That's not good. I don't like that. Let's change that back. There was another option in here. It was, I'm getting murdered while I'm in the menu. Where was it? Temporal reconstruction and fidelity. Let's do performance, and let's see how that does. Apparently, it's some sort of like scaling system. I mean, it turned off resolution scale as soon as I enabled it. That was one thing that I just immediately noticed. So it's automatically doing resolution scale adjustments depending on what's going on.
I have no potions.
In fact, you know what? Let's go back to town where the FPS drops were the most severe. In Kavashad. The FPS drops were pretty bad here as you walked around, so I would like to see if it's still that way. Hey, it loaded us in. What do you know? Exciting. Almost died, though.
I don't have any potions.
How the hell do you zoom in on the Steam the console? Or can you zoom in on the console?
Find somewhere else to get warm. I was here first.
I mean, with the dynamic resolution scaling, it definitely does seem like it's, I don't want to say like graphically better, but it does seem to be having less FPS drops in the city.
Found a new boil on my hand that makes 17 so far.
Who the hell counts their boils? So I guess the moral of the story is yes, it works. It plays pretty nicely, but what graphical fidelity are you going to be? Are you going to find acceptable? I mean, VSync seems like it needs to be on. I don't really like this. It looks terrible. Let's try quality. Hold on. I didn't even accept it. Let me try quality and see if quality looks better. Okay, that's a little bit better. The character's not so blurry anymore. But now we're frame dropping again pretty hard. So, and this could improve as they make compatibility between the Proton compatibility layer and the game itself, and figure out why the game itself isn't properly recognizing the graphics driver. So if once we get like a better optimized graphics driver, this could all get fixed. So for those of you with Steam Decks, I mean, I say this is generally a win. I'm currently using up 12.1 gigs of RAM now, though. There seems to be some sort of memory leak issue with Diablo 4 as well, which could also technically be negatively affecting the performance. 12.1 gigs is a lot of freaking RAM to be using for one video game. I've had people tell me that that Diablo has been consuming upwards of 17 gigs on its own. I'm not even talking like full system. I'm talking 17 gigs with just the Diablo 4 application, which is pretty insane. And hopefully when launch comes and they come out with the full version, they'll have optimized and fixed most of those memory leak issues and problems with it taking up too much memory. Because there's no reason why they should be using 12.1 gigs of RAM. Like, I can understand on my computer, you know, my desktop, which is 4K resolution and all those other crazy things, you know, and I'm running like maximum textures and I'm bumping up like resolution scale and stuff like that. But this thing is running 720p, lowest settings, crappiest resolutions, everything's turned off, and it's still burning 12.1 gigs of RAM and 5.9 gigs of VRAM. Seems a little insane. I think that's pretty much it. I think I'm done testing for right now. We may actually try to do a live stream, maybe with the Steam Deck, now that I've got it set up and actually see that it works. But as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, and tune in to my next live stream. And be sure to hit that subscribe button, because we're definitely going to be doing more fun stuff in Diablo 4.